How pleased were you with that performance all round?
Yeah, really pleased, because Benfica are a very good team. So we had to show our qualities today. I thought we were patient initially because we had chances and didn't score early. But we kept at it, and I think once we scored the second goal, you sort of saw the real us and what we can be. I thought we were excellent from that point onwards.
Eddie, do you think this is the best squad you've assembled since you've been here? Now, because I'm thinking the strength on the bench is incredible. Harvey Barnes obviously coming in and scoring 2. Tonali didn't even need to get stripped. You've got real strength. Yeah,
we have strength, but it's sort of on paper. I think you've got to go and prove it. So the previous squads we've had here, obviously last season we had a great season. We won a trophy. So we've got to go to work, I say, and prove that really, that the strength of the squad warrants sort of the feeling I have, because I do believe we've got full of really, really good players. We haven't quite clicked into gear yet this season. Hopefully that's the start of what we can be.
Ed, I actually brought my boots with me tonight, and I was hoping that, you know, I might knock on your door, but
put them back in the car, Les.
Yeah, I'm just.
I don't know. We'll have a look at you.
I realise I've got to do that, but I was just saying, you must be pleased with the wingers. We were talking before the game, talking about the wingers need to add goals to what they're doing as well, and tonight we saw the wingers getting those goals.
Yeah, really pleased with all of them. I think Anthony was outstanding tonight. He looked a real threat all game. He was dynamic and very aggressive, positive. Jacob's always been sort of an assist threat, and today I think he was absolutely that. Some of the deliveries he put in were very, very good, and really pleased for Harvey to come on and get the 2 that he did, and off the right-hand side, so it shows his versatility. I think it'll do those 3 players in particular the world of good.
Did you ask Nick Pope to become a bit of an assist threat as well?
Well, I'm not sure I can take too much credit for that. We are working on certain things with Nick on his distribution, like his throwing's a big strength of his, actually, and we have been working on that. I wouldn't necessarily say that was in the necessarily what we've worked on, but you know, he's a very, very good goalkeeper, and he showed that today from corners, and the little bits that he had to do, thought he did really well. And of course, distribution is so important in the modern game.
Can I ask you about Lewis Miley as well today? Another young man coming in, big Champions League game. He done well.
I did really well. For me, Louis got all the attributes to be whatever he wants to be in various roles. And he can play holding like he did today, or higher up the pitch. But his technical quality, his temperament, you can see today's a massive game for the football club. He's not really fazed by it. He just goes on and does his stuff, and very good.
Is he leaning into Tonali and Guimaraes, the experienced players around him, you know, giving him pointers?
Yeah, but I think Louis sees himself with them. You know, I don't think he necessarily sees it like that. Yes, of course he will. He's open enough to want help and guidance and progression, but I think quite rightly he sees himself on the same level as them, and he's competing with them for places.
Can I ask, Ross Wilson's come in, a new sporting director in the international break. What is it that you want to be working closely with him to do, and what are your plans with him?
Yeah, it's the start of a new relationship. I'm really excited by what Ross can bring the football club. I think he's got a wealth of experience. He's been involved with some huge football clubs. I think just from our perspective, we need to build the infrastructure and the processes to make sure we're successful for the long term. And Ross will be a huge part of that, transfer policies, academy, women's game, and making sure we evolve in the right direction.
Excellent. Okay. One more for you, Les? I don't want to cut you out because it's Les. Do you know what I mean?
He wants to ask about training session tomorrow.
It does, yeah.
What time are you tomorrow? 9 o'clock.
Anyway, we will let you go. Don't worry. Thank you so much. A great win tonight, and you must be really pleased. Thank you so much. Eddie Howe there, going to rejoin his team. It is good to see, you know, it's like we were saying at the end of the game, that kind of the idea of being brutal and still going for the jugular, even when you're 2-0 up, still going for more. Like, that's the kind of thing that he needs in his side. And Joe, what you were saying there about having that quality and depth as well, which is going to be so useful if they're going to fight on fronts like the Premier League and the Champions League. Yeah,
it is, and he's really relaxed there. You know, and I think what he's Eddie, because I don't think results-wise he wouldn't obviously would be pleased with how the start to the season's gone, because they've been better, but I think the performances have been there, and I think tonight, I think he's probably going back into that dressing room thinking to himself, I think that's us now kicking on. Like I said, Fulham's coming here at the weekend, and that's a good game as well for them, going to get another victory. And I just think they're going to motor now. From now until Christmas, you'll see them do that.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, you know, when you looked at what they did last season, and then through the summer, rather than adding to the squad, they arguably lost their best player. So it was a bit of a turmoil, and that went on all summer. And it's taken a while for them to find their rhythm again, and that's what he's looking for. Because as he said, the performance have been good, but the goals haven't come on the end of it. And while those goals haven't come on the end of it, people are saying, well, yeah, you've lost Isak and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think they needed a performance like that tonight, and hopefully that starts them into where they want to be.
Les, I think with Vissa, when he's back fit, hopefully soon, and Voltemada, I think they're actually in a better position than what with Isak. Because, to compete on more fronts, you need players who can, come in. And you look at the numbers that they're going to have, Gordon, Alanga and everyone, them two. I think they're in a better position.
José, what is your reaction? What are your thoughts on the match overall and your team's performance tonight?
A good performance in the first half. Totally undeserved result at the first half. Not easy to come here and to play the way we did in the first half. Creating 4 big chances, hitting the post, being the team that, in my opinion, was closer to be winning. Then in the second half, with the second goal, was completely turned around, and then the result is more than fair.
Is that a mentality thing, do you think, in your players for what happened after the second goal?
I don't think it's a mentality thing. I think it's just the difference of qualities between the two teams. They are more physical, they are more intense, they are faster. They have a bench with phenomenal players to change the dynamics. And then when the game breaks, because in the first half, even the second half, until the second goal, we were very compact. At the moment you are losing 2-0 and the players want to try to chase the result and the game open and more space, then they have different engines than we have. Even the profile of the leagues, the Premier League demands a great evolution of teams at this level. In the second half is suffered.
Where do you think this leaves your Champions League campaign now after 3 games?
15 points to play for. We lost Chelsea away, Newcastle away, which in the end wouldn't be dramatic. Dramatic was the loss at home against Karabakh, and the team now with 0 points. But we have 15 points to play for with 3 matches at home. I would say maybe 10 points, 11 points are the points that we need to qualify. So game on.
And what is the most pressing thing for you to identify to try and help these players with in the immediate future to turn around the results?
You know, the domestic competitions are the competitions to win, and I think we can compete to that, and we can win the domestic competitions, the cups and the league. In Europe, to play against these top teams is more difficult. Of course, it's more difficult. But again, I think we did a positive game at Chelsea, and we did a good first half here today. The team was not lucky, and then with the second goal, was difficult. Was really difficult.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, José, they're saying, look, no complaints about the score, what happened there. You can't really be fairer than that. What is it José's got to do with this Benfica side?
He needs to settle. I think there's talented players in the squad. I think he's has to evolve. Like he said there, he was clear. You know, Newcastle have got more firepower. They've got more players. There's more demands. You know, you expect Newcastle with the finances they got to beat Benfica. He's right. You know, they can win the domestic competitions, the cups, the leagues, and I think that's what he's been brought in for. And I think he just has to maybe a softer approach. You know, it's not like he's walking into Inter Milan or Chelsea or Real Madrid where, you know, if you lose a game like this 3-0, the demands are high. I think people at Benfica understand they're in a low part of their cycle. He's in, and I think it's probably a 2-year project for him to put trophies on the table there.
Yeah, difficult, because as we said at the start, that they're a team that, you know, they produce players and they sell them on. So are they going to win the Champions League? Probably not, because of the fact that they sell their best players. So it's a difficult one. What they need to do is get to this competition year in, year out, and they make the money, but they sell the players. So it's a difficult one. It's hard to assess what Benfica expect. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose if it's on the domestic level and they're going to win the league, or they're going to challenge for the league and they're going to challenge for the cups, they'll win some of them. But when you come up against these teams, the tougher teams in the Champions League, it's going to be very, very difficult. spectacle.
Well, let's have a little look and see how Newcastle did undo Benfica today. We'll start with 1-0 for Anthony Gordon. And this was a Jacob Murphy assist, who I thought actually had a pretty brilliant game today.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. And that ball from Guimaraes is superb. See that pass in there from Murphy? Don't underestimate that. It looks like a simple Guimaraes here on the back foot turn, lovely way to pass. Then Murphy just feeds it in, and that is just inviting. And then Gordon does what he's supposed to at the far post. You know, again, shows Gordon he missed a similar chance against Barcelona, and that would have been haunting him. Les would know as a striker when you miss chances, but a good finisher. He's come and got good contact.
And that was with Elanga starting on the right, that chance against Barcelona. Do you think that these two wide men that we saw start today are the best options for Newcastle at the moment?
I think in terms of, Murphy came on at the weekend and he made a difference when he came on. And I wasn't surprised to see him play today because I thought he did that well when he came on. And like I said, he had his second most assists last season in the Premier League. So, you know what he's capable of, and he's added goals to his game. So I wasn't surprised to see him play today. And so I think at this moment, they probably are, because after the performance he's put in today, I think it'd be hard for the managers to drop him at the weekend. So let's see if he can go on and continue his run of form.
Well, Harvey Barnes was a change off the bench, and he came on and he just two brilliant finishes from him.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes will be knocking on Eddie's door as well. He said, I've scored a brace in the Champions League. I want that shirt. Nick Pope comes out first and absolute slings it up the pitch. That can only be described a 65-yard sling. And then listen, what he does here is he waits. He's got great composure, Harvey Barnes. He's a goal scorer. I mean, look, that, you know, not many would go with their arm there. It'll be a kick, but Nick Pope's done. He got the job done. Centre half makes a hash of it. But what Harvey Barnes does well, that touch there, and waits to the last minute for the gap to go and goes across him, Les. Like all good finishes.
You know, he takes a couple of really good touches and just gets it out of his feet and then just places it in the bottom. He doesn't smash it. Look at this. Just places it in the bottom, sees the gap, and that's a great finish.
That's a great angle there to see it, because
to see the work he has to do there. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. It's players as well for Eddie Howe, not just England, that are standing up and putting their hand up and saying, pick me. This is 3-0, another Harvey Barnes goal and a Gordon assist this time, Joe.
That's the pick of the bunch. You know, that you do sessions, don't you, Les, in say 3 against 3, and you want it moved one touch round the corner, beautiful way to pass from Anthony Gordon, and then that's a great finish as well. Keeper comes out, just slots it underneath him. And like I said, you're talking about Elanga. Murphy probably deserves it on form, but this lad, like you said, he scored 2 goals. Les is knocking on his door.
You'll be saying like, you want goals? I've just given you 2 goals. Like, I want to play at the weekend.
If I'm Harvey Barnes, I'll be knocking on the gaffer's door. Where am I playing at the weekend, gaffer? Is it left or the right?
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be a bit cheeky with it.
Where would you be knocking on his door? In the office?
I'll be putting the seed in now.
No, because
in his house.
Drive to his house.
Follow him around town.
Getting early.
Dropping a DVD off of the goals. Like.
At every red light, knocking on his window. Look, with Bruno, it doesn't really matter whether he's playing with Tonali or why does Joe Linton's name keep going in my head? Or these two that he started with today, he's still brilliant.
Guimaraes is just an outstanding footballer. He's so. He's a fulcrum of everything they do, Les, and he's just a fantastic footballer, and I love watching him. I think he could be the best in the league. I know Scholes, he'd give Tonali that. Guimaraes could be.
I think what he does is that he just keeps this team ticking over. He gets the ball, and normally what you do, you see Tonali get the ball and give it to him, and he assists the assister most of the time. But today I thought he was outstanding. You know, he stood up like a captain today, and he said, "Right, give me the ball, and I'm gonna make us play," and that's exactly what he did today. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, that is Newcastle. Just before we go, I just want to quickly talk to you a little bit about what else you can see on TNT Sports, because Liverpool, they're going to travel to Frankfurt tomorrow, and they are in a bad run of form at the moment. I actually thought they might turn it around against Manchester United. Where do they go from here?
I don't think there's any cause for panic. I just think that listen, the extraordinary thing for me is, as champions of the country, they brought 4 players in and they tried to bed them into the team. You know, that for me will be alarm bells. You know, it's usually 1 or 2 players come in and you're bedding them in because you think you won the league last year. You know, you're trying to find them and they're just not finding their feet yet.
Elsewhere, aren't they? Milan and Como are supposed to be going to Perth in the new year.
That's
so
right,
they've got a bit more time. Meanwhile, welcome along to viewers on TNT Sports 1 and 2 as we continue our roundup of tonight's Champions League games. We will hear from Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes shortly, but on Newcastle, eventually comfortable winners against a Benfica team that came with some threats, but in the end, Newcastle, good value.
Yeah, I think Newcastle started well. I think they went 1-0 up and allowed Benfica back into the game. We'll see the goal here. I thought Jacob Murphy. I don't know why I was thinking Ramsey. Jacob Murphy down the right-hand side. He was persistent in getting in those positions. Great ball across for Andy Gordon. And he went 1-0 up, but Benfica got back into the game with a few opportunities, but then once from this second goal, the pass from Pope, obviously misjudged there by the defender, and Harvey Barnes gets in. A great assist from Pope. Good finish. A lot to do there for Harvey Barnes. Once they got that second goal, they were really dominant, but look at that for an assist. The young defender, Silva tries to come across, misjudges it, and then, as I say, Harvey Barnes is able to tuck it away there. And he got his second shortly after, a really well-worked goal off this left-hand side, from Gordon, plays it into Bolton-Mata, and it comes back to him. He gives it to Harvey Barnes, and he's able, I think the weight of the pass here from Gordon, you'll see, it allows Harvey Barnes just to step onto it and put it into the back of the net, hard and low at the keeper's feet. A difficult one for the goalkeeper. But they started really well, Newcastle, and it was down that right-hand side where most of their good play come from, and through Anthony Gordon. I think once he got his goal, he started to feel himself a little bit and was involved in both of the other goals. So yeah,
composure. Slows down a bit, thinks about it.
And a strong show of intent.
He did get player of the match, just added that, Martin.
He did, yeah.
I don't know if you was aware of that.
I think I'd just like him to slow down just a tad, a bit like yourself. Slow down, it shows that class. When you slow down, that class is there, and I think he can produce great things. He's still got more under the bonnet, this boy, but I think sometimes he goes a bit too fast. Slow down.
2 of the 3 goal involvements, but he's player of the match.
Yes, Martin. As promised, let's hear from the goal scorers with Emma Dodds.
Joined by not 1 but 2 goal scorers this evening. Guys, just listen to this. Champions League winning nights are back here. Harvey, what does it mean to the players?
Yeah, no, last season we obviously weren't in Europe, and I think that hurt the players. This is what we want to be involved in these sort of games. You just soak in the atmosphere. There's nothing better than playing in these sort of games. So I think it's been a great start to the campaign, and long may it continue.
Anthony, you got the side up and running with another goal. You are now the first Newcastle player ever to score in 3 consecutive Champions League games. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means everything, but I need to get more. My ambition doesn't stop there. It's well known I'm a very ambitious person, so I'm very proud of that, but I've got to get more.
How important was that first one, though, just given the atmosphere in the stadium and obviously the desire to get this victory tonight?
Yeah, I think because we were having so many chances, I think at some point in the game you've got to put one away just to calm the nerves and calm everyone down. So I was glad to see it go in. I know playing with Murphy's going to play that ball all the time, so that goes all about him.
And Harvey, for you, you came off the bench and got not 1 but 2. Let's talk about the first one. Had you discussed that with Nick Pope, just the move, the throw?
No, I think it's weird, just sort of opened up, and you just take off, don't you? He's obviously played a great ball, got a little bit of luck with the defender missing it, but then when you're in them positions, it's just natural instinct. You go and do what you do and finish it. It was a great assist by Pope.
It certainly was. We saw what it meant to everybody, just the way they surrounded him. Given what happened a couple of weeks ago, Fon, were you pleased?
No, amazing. We all love him. He's one of the most popular persons in the dressing room. We absolutely love him. He's the top guy, top keeper. He kept us in so many games this season so far, and even some of the saves he made in the first half were incredible. So he deserves it.
But your second one as well, the third one overall, how pleasing was that, just given the game management and getting this result secured against what were a very dangerous Benfica side?
Yeah, I think this year probably a few times when we've gone ahead in games, we've not quite gone for that second and third goal, and it sort of cost us a little bit. So tonight it was obviously good to go and get the second, and then go and look for the third, the fourth. I think that's when we're at our best, attacking football. Got the crowd behind us, and that third goal kills the game off, so it's important.
Well, listen, guys, congratulations, fantastic tonight, well done. Cheers now.
Thank you.
Happy boys, as they would be, and again, example of squad depth. Harvey Barnes, who's had to wait and work for a chance to play, hasn't always had it his own way in recent weeks and months, actually. Injury as well, but 2 tonight knocks on the door.
Absolutely, and I think Newcastle showed today as well that squad depth that they now have. They didn't have that last time round in the Champions League, to bring Alanga on, to bring Joe Linton on, to bring Harvey Barnes on, to score 2 goals. I think that strengthens them, gives them fresh legs in the areas that they're probably going to... We spoke about it, Murphy there, he was really consistent down that right-hand side, and he probably did a lot. At some point, you want to freshen that back up, and to bring Harvey Barnes on to continue that down the right-hand side and get the both goals. The squad depth's looking good.
And Wissa, who we still haven't yet seen because of the
Forgot
injury
Ethan
since he
went
moved. But exactly. So when he will be back, to add to what Farah just said, he would also add another option up front with Osula and with Voltemada.
Two wins Champions League and only the Barcelona defeat. And we know which can happen to anybody with the quality they've got.
Yeah. Fulham at home this weekend in the Premier League. They've got Spurs in the Carabao, and their next game in this competition, Athletic Club, who are having a tough time of it, albeit a good team, at home again. So at home is often where the heart is for Newcastle, do you feel?
Yeah, and if you get 3 more points, that's 9. You're 2 away from guaranteed you top 24 for sure. And then if you aim at top 8, you just need another probably 7 to be sure, maybe 8, which is doable because they would have another 2 home games, so another 6 points. So it's good. We mentioned during the show they would have to go to Marseille, they would have to go to Paris as well for the last game on game week 8. So they would be tricky away games for them. But certainly if they can do full points at home, they would be very close to that top 8.
Yeah.